The year is 330 AD, and an Ethiopian boy is born into slavery in Nubia. The boy grew into a physically imposing man, one with immense strength and a wicked temper. Once insulted by a shepherd, he swam the mile-wide, flooded Nile with a sword in his teeth, killed 4 rams, carried the carcasses back across the river, and ate the meat in a single sitting, and then sold the skins for wine. His temper, love for strong drink, and violent tendencies soon had him expelled by his master. Wanted for theft and suspected of murder, this boy turned to a life that suited him best: banditry. The boy in question, then Saint Moses the Black. Moses quickly became the leader of a group of 70 robbers. These robbers struck fear and terrorized local villages all around the Nile Valley. This reign of terror lasted for about 9 years, where Moses and his band of robbers stole, killed, and pillaged, with seemingly no end in sight. That is, until one day, the gang ran into difficulty in a village, causing them to flee capture from the authorities. This event led Moses to seek refuge in a local monastery. Shelter was not Moses' only motivation to go into this monastery, however. Moses was always a seeker of truth, and often prayed to the sun god of his youth to try and find the one true God one day. When Moses learned of the people of this monastery, he knew that they knew of the one true God. So, with a sword by his side, he approached the monks. Moses was a man that people feared. He towered over people, was large, and was a murderer by trade. However, he was greeted like a brother by the monks. And tradition says that witnessing their peaceful prayer, ascetic discipline, and contentment amid poverty, he was immediately convicted by the contract of his own violent life. He confessed his sins and refused to depart the monastery, and begged to be counted among the brethren. The monks, worried of a genuine confession, began to test his sincerity through persistence and humility. Moses would fully submit to the abbot of the monastery, where he showed his willingness towards repentance and was baptized and became a member of the monastery. As a monk, Moses withdrew into solitary in a cell far away from water, where he would use his physical strength to carry heavy jars of water to the elderly and the sick brothers in the monastery. In Moses' past life, he was known as a glutton. Now, he ate sparingly and spent many days of his life fasting, and would spend most of his nights standing in prayer, refusing to lie down to sleep. He did this to combat the passions of the flesh and demonic temptations. Moses, a formerly violent man, now wept bitterly over his past and became known for his meekness. He was often insulted by the younger monks for his past. However, he would take these insults without a word. He would not retaliate in any way. When he was later ordained as a priest, he first protested, saying that he was not worthy, and that he was white only on the outside, and his inner being was still dark. In the year 405 AD, Saint Moses received a revelation during prayer that raiders would soon attack and destroy the monastery. Moses warned his brothers to flee. However, 7 other monks decided to stay and remain with him. Moses knew that his violent past would one day return to him. Yet, he did not fear this day. In fact, he had long desired this day. For him, this was his final atonement, the chance to reap what he had sown years before. Though Christ had made him new, and he had already died spiritually to his old life, this was now his opportunity to die physically in the same manner. When the raiders entered the monastery, they saw the disciples and Moses praying, and they slaughtered them. However, one monk who hid nearby witnessed the whole event and testified that he saw 7 shining crowns descending from heaven upon these martyrs.